Hello and welcome back to my channel. My name is Sharika and I'm a digital content creator based in Tokyo. And today I am talking about my favorite books that you need to read 110%. And just before I go, make sure to subscribe because there's gonna be a lot of December content coming up. There are favorites happening. I have a collaboration coming up. So make sure to subscribe and make sure to follow me on Instagram as well. So let's begin. First up is the reason why I started vlogging basically. I am a big fan of Sophie Kinsella and especially Confessions of a Shopaholic. And this entire, grab it up. This entire series is kind of why I started Shopaholicsharika. And I'm a huge fan of Rebecca Bloomwood. I kind of want my life to be like hers, maybe not the dead part, but like the way she just carries herself with confidence is something I aspire to be. And yeah, so if you like chick lit and if you like rom-coms, I would highly recommend this. My only beef with this whole thing, and it's not even the books, like I love the books. Anytime I'm having a bad day, I can like pick out any of these and I'll feel really happy and like just forget about my problems. But the movie that was made based on this book actually combined both of these books. The first one, The Confessions of a Shopaholic, and the I have these in the wrong order, my bad. But these two books, so it combined these two, the first one and the second one, and it turned into something like completely different. And it based the entire story in the US instead of like in New York, instead of basing it in London where most of the story happens. And yeah, so that's my only beef with this. But other than that, I am a huge fan of these books and I cannot recommend them enough. And there are other books by Sophie Kinsella that I love. And I personally, since I've like grown up on Princess Diaries by Meg Cabot, I feel like this is the older version of that, in the sense like you can transition from Princess Diaries when you were in your tween, like 12, 13, 14 age, into Sophie Kinsella, and it has that same energy and same happy good feel to it. So yeah, highly recommend all of these. There are, since I am such a big fan, I do want to change this last one, Christmas Shopaholic, which recently came out in a smaller paperback. So I do want to change that someday, if I will. But other than that, these are heavy to carry down. But other than that, I would highly recommend all of these. Next up is Aliza Licht. I think I'm like mispronouncing her last name, I'm so sorry. But her book, Leave Your Mark, and this has been a game changer for me in my career. So it basically starts off with her journey into fashion PR when she started working, and like how she scored interviews, how she does mentoring and things like that. But it also shows her life working in PR and like how fashion PR is handled. So it's kind of like an insider story about fashion PR. And one of the reasons why I love this is I picked this up in year 4 of college, and I was still struggling to figure out like what I wanted to do after school, after like graduating. And because I had done international relations, but it wasn't something that I wanted to continue on in my future. So I picked this up to just read about how to like, this is kind of fashion related and that was something I was interested in. So I picked this up. And she talks about her transition from what she studied in school to completely going 360 degrees, 180 degrees, but like, yeah, going in, as you can see, math is not my strong suit, and going into fashion PR. So this book really helped me gain confidence about that, yes, I can transition into something that I'm passionate about instead of doing something that was stereotypically expected of me, kind of. So yeah, and the interview I got at Calvin Klein, and in the end I started working at Calvin Klein last year, is also because of this book. And it's more about like, it has interview tips and tricks which I don't think I would have learned otherwise, about how to like make sure to email the interviewer after you've done the interview, or how to connect and how to network, and which I feel like is really important, especially in today's day and age, and especially in fashion PR. It's all about networking and like making connections. And this book has really helped on communicating, not just as a brand, but it's also helped me communicate my own content, and it's only helped me like become more confident in what I want to talk about. So basically how I should leave my mark, as the book says. And she also has a podcast now with the same name. I don't know if it's on Apple, but it's on Spotify at least. And she talks about other industry leaders and other people in the industry. And it's a great way to like learn about not just like one part of fashion, but like a whole range. And it's really interesting, and it's something that I often listen to while I'm on the train, or like just in general when I'm like working. So I highly recommend this book. Next up is Tessa Barton's Instastyle. She on Instagram, she's known as Tessa, and this book really helped me start curating my content. And if you follow me on Instagram, first of all, make sure you do. And her app, Tessa app, is what I use to edit all my photographs. And I feel like it gives a more cohesive vibe, because as you know, like if you do follow me, most of my pictures aren't like cohesive, but the vibe is now cohesive thanks to her and her app, especially her book. And it is just a like Instastyle. I was kind of iffy about it in the beginning, like before I picked the book up, because there's a lot of creators who've gained success and they're very successful and they write books, but not a lot of them actually give tips about like how to like successfully utilize what they say. And this is like completely different from that. I have learned tips about posing, for example, because I was really afraid of like how to pose in public. There's posing things, and also like how to like make sure that your grid on Instagram like makes sense, and like it's your first impression, so how would you pose about it. And another thing that I love about this book is it has tips for photographers. So if you are a content creator, you would know that sometimes you take your own photographs, but there are times when you have like a family friend who takes family or a friend who takes your photographs. And this book has tips and tricks for them as well. So it's like a one-stop shop for everything about curating fashion content or like lifestyle content on Instagram. And it just really helps out. And since it isn't a really easy like what is this, like 2-page kind of style off most of the times, it really helps out like just pinpoint and be like, this is what I'm struggling at, how do I fix this? And that's why I would highly recommend this. And also the app, like I love the app. Next up is Capture Your Style by Aimee Song. And this book, if you follow Aimee Song on Instagram, she's like a total queen. But this book has basically helped me again with my fashion content on Instagram. And not only that, it's also helped me like figure out what kind of content I want to post, and like how to take better selfies, for example, because I feel like the art of taking a good selfie is something that it's a skill you need, which like I still struggle with a lot, because I don't feel confident in like turning it on the like front camera and just taking a picture and things like that, and like lighting, how to take your photos. And it also has like food and travel parts, so if you want to branch out of just not posting fashion but also like lifestyle in general, this has great ways to post about it. And another thing that I love about this is that she's like, just like Tessa did, this book also has like Aimee's own photographs from her content, so it's easier to like recreate images and like take inspiration from what kind of content she's posted. when I started creating content, basically, I started by being inspired by creators, but I didn't know where to start myself. So books like these have really helped me out to like come into my own and figure out what I want to do. And lastly, at point 5 is How to Not Wear Black by Anna Murphy. And this book is not about like content creation, but it's about coming into your own style wise. And as someone who wore t-shirt and jeans most of the time and like wore a lot of black and didn't experiment a lot with style till like I think college, because high school I did have a uniform and I barely had time to like style things up. But so this book has been a game changer, and it talks about a lot of things like prints and patterns, which I have slowly started to experiment. I still don't think I'm like bold enough to wear a lot of outfits, but this book has like really helped me figure out what I want to do. And it kind of serves as a dictionary in a way. Like, it talks about sustainable fashion, it talks about prints, patterns, just like I said, and it also talks about like finding clothes that fit you and flatter you. I personally feel like, especially as a mid-sized person, I struggle with figuring out what would actually flatter. I struggled with that for a really long time, because I was tall but I wasn't skinny, and I'm not exactly in the plus size category either. So like that mid-range is somewhere like it's really hard to find clothes, especially living in Japan. And this book has helped me like figure out what kind of styles work better on my body, what kind of shapes work better. And so yeah, this has really helped me come into my own style. And that is it for all my favorite books that you must read. And thank you guys so much for watching. Please make sure to subscribe to this channel. Please make sure to follow me on Instagram, and I will have all of these books linked below. They're Amazon links, so I'll have an Amazon.com link and an Amazon Japan link, and if I can find one like Amazon UK or India as well, I will like add links so that you can find the Amazon that works for you. Anyways, I will see you guys again soon. Thank you guys so much for watching. Bye.